never going to be the same as Sid or Connor.
Yeah.
And the reality is he's a 5'9", probably a winger who shoots the puck like an absolute rocket ship, who's going to score a bunch of power play points, and he's going to be, realistically, it's Cole Caulfield that he wants to be right now and be 50 goal scorer. That's what Bedard wants to do.
Clearing the crease. Oh. Clearing the crease. Hey, hey,
Welcome back to the Clearing the Crease podcast, powered by Ozune. Well played, alongside the Calder Trophy winner, the one you love between the pipes, the Razor, Andrew Raycroft. What's happening, Rays? How's the summer Razor going?
Oh, Summer Razor's still cruising through Ontario a little bit, so up north again for one more week until I get back to real vacation time and maybe a little beach down in Massachusetts. But it's been good. Of course, it's flying by. Golf game is getting worse by the day. And hopefully now the schedule comes out for the end. Like it feels a little daunting right now that we're getting closer to the end, but it's been good. And again, few more weeks here of vacation time for me.
Meantime, he is our Stanley Cup winner, everybody's favorite party animal, and the month of Commie continues. You just survived. Okay, like it's just over. To walk us through this month here. Yeah. You've gone from Stampede and you just came back from Europe. How was Euro trip, Connor?
Well, I want to start. Really, it's been, I don't remember the exact date of whenever Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals was, but basically since then till 2 days ago, it's been a big, I think it's about 4 weeks. So it was the Game 5, then back for golf here in Arizona, then out to Gamble Sands for the 4 days, then back here, out to Salt Lake for a member guest, back here, jump in the car, dogs and girlfriend, drive up to Calgary, 10 days of Stampede, drive back, get on a plane, fly to London, England, play golf with 11 other animals, and then I finally flew back. I got home a couple days ago. I am doing good. I made it through. It's time for some R&R here for sure. But yeah, everything's going good. The Cleary Horkoff Invitational, after disappearing with COVID, made its return. And yeah, it was a real successful trip. 12 guys. London was good. We had an emergency.
You won. Did I see that you won?
That's right. That is right.
Oh boy, that's a good one to win too. Boy,
yeah. It's kind of, there's different games kind of every day, but basically the trip is kind of geared towards the last 2 rounds, and that's called the Trip Championship. And every game that we play is always 2-man best ball. So you're never on your own. It's 2 guys. 1 ball has to go in the hole. I think it's max net double is like the highest score you can take on a hole. So the night before, we had a dinner down in London, and we actually had it just the Coworth Hotel or whatever. It was nice. And so we have like the money leaders and everything, right? So because you get paid every day depending on how you finish. And the point of this isn't to like take money from your buddies. Like there's basically almost everybody gets paid every day unless you finish dead last. So if you're last place in the money list, you pick first and then second last. And so you draft your partner for the Trip Championship. Believe it or not, well, Ray Whitney showed up. Something happened on the plane. Poor Ray, like his back, and I've never heard him. I know Ray pretty good. I've never heard Ray complain about it. Ray's a player too. His back was a mess. And those shitty...
it's because he became a coach. He became a coach, and he's falling apart. That's what happens. You become a coach, and you become a bum.
Standing around for 3 hours a night now on the bench. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, his back was killing him. I've never seen him like that. But in saying that, he was striping it. He was playing great. But anyways, your partners, it's a partner game, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I was third last, so... I went with the best player in the group. I picked Gustav Nyquist, who was giving back a shot every day to the field. So on the easiest hole on both the courses, the Trip Championship was on St. George's Hill. And the last one was the Centurion Club, where they had a live event a little while ago. And I think that's where Luke Donald took the European team before Rome for like a week. Because from the back tees, this golf course is hard. like we didn't play the back tees. We're up, but it's like kind of different. It's like a par 74. There's 7 par 5s. Like I've never seen anything like that before. But anyways, it was really nice. And we cleaned up. I actually should have. I was going to wear it today. So we got nice jackets. And so I'm a one-time champion. So I got a jacket with 1 star. So now I got 2 stars. So I believe now there's obviously advantage to the people that have been there every year. That's Sean Horkoff, Dan Cleary, me, and Ryan Whitney. So I think Whit only has 1 star. The other 2 have 2. I think I'm getting that right. So now I have 2 stars, and Gus is getting his first jacket. He's thrilled. Gus is an awesome golfer. For anybody, like, he's really good. Like, he can legit golf his golf ball. He grew up around St. Andrews in some fashion. I was told that. Like, anyways, he can really play. So I went with him because at the end of the day, I'm like, I got way less stress if I know my partner's sick. And believe it or not, I mean, I can blow up with the best of it. Anybody who's played with me more than once, no, I mean, it can look pretty decent at times, but when it goes off the rails, it's off the rails. But I actually hung in there pretty good. I don't think I had 1 double, I think, in 36 holes. Yeah, I actually hung in there all right for me. So anyways,
that's good.
Long-winded story. Had a good time, flight home. It was a successful trip, and it's good to be back.
Ever since you cranked that wheel in Carolina. What a whirlwind. What a whirlwind.
Oh, man.
Canes win. Commie continues to win. It's what a month later. Man. You've just been living your best life.
It's been busy. It's been busy.
No chafing? Yeah, no chafing this trip.
No chafing. I did. I brought some Vaseline. I used it. We played 1 day of 36. You know what? I should get this in. We played 1 day of 36. This isn't the Ken Holland trip where you go over there for 10 days and you play 19 rounds. We had 136 days. So the 18-hole days are no big deal. And actually, one day we had a cart, which was amazing.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so the 36-hole day, I would say the only disappointing thing of the whole trip was Sunningdale. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's a pretty famous golf course over there. It's hosted some big events. Sunningdale was very disappointing. We played there. Yeah. We didn't have caddies. We ended up figuring out, and we're walking, right? We ended up figuring out that was our fault. The email went to the wrong spot. So the 18-hole, that's where we started. We had no caddies. So we're pushing and guys are grinding. Okay, we're back there in 2 days, 36 holes. We got guys that got bad feet and Ryan Whitney's not a great walker. He had to retire. And so we actually found some people in the clubhouse, some kids that are members that were like, yeah, hey, we'll pay you $500 for the day. Just come carry my bag. They were thrilled. Caddy Master shut it down. So then we asked for a couple of carts. Well, the caddy master was kind of a dick. The caddy, we asked for carts. We're like, hey, we got a couple doctor's notes. He's like, yeah, you can show me the doctor's notes, but you need a caddy to drive the cart, and we have no caddies. So, Sunningdale was a big disappointment. I wouldn't go back. I mean,
it's called Sunnydale?
Sunningdale. Yeah, I mean, it's
Sunnydale. I was going to say, it sounded like the campground from the Trailer Park Boys. You could have had Bubbles, Ricky, and Julian there caddying for you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Those guys
we would have got treated in that trailer park way better than we did at Sunningdale. But anyways, it was a little disappointing to say. Anyway.
That's an Ozoon well played. Hey, quick reminder, everybody, if you're enjoying the show and all the content that we continue to bring you, whether it's through the podcast right here that you're watching or the add-ons through social media, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. And also, if you listen in audio form, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. Make sure you're also following along on Instagram, X, TikTok, or wherever else you are finding us, because the Clearing the Crease podcast is powered by Ozoon.com. The clearest route to winning big, well, you know the deal. It's to play on Ozoon.com, because Ozoon's got you covered for all the props, game lines, futures, whether it's on the ice, on the diamond, on the pitch, and soon to be on the gridiron. Oh, NFL camps opening up. Love it. Make your power play. Did I start squeaking there? Yeah. Make your power play. Score big with Ozoon. Well played. Okay, Commie, I want to dive into... You obviously have had an amazing run for the last month with respect to the Canes, cranking the horn, as Razor touched on, going to Europe, Calgary Stampede. It's just been the summer of Commie. That being said, You've also touched on some stuff on social media that maybe hasn't been as fun. Do you want to touch on anything you would like to add with that?
Yeah. I mean, I might as well add, and I should put it to bed a little. To be honest, I've been so with the travel and the stampede and all this, and then England, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I got to only deal with one thing at a time here. But, during development camp, I did fire out a tweet, and I don't want to take any of it back. It's my opinion. Babs in his last development camp and throughout the summer in Columbus, I would say didn't really, it wasn't up to his best behavior. So I mentioned something about that online. Yeah. And that kind of took on a life of its own, and I just kind of ignored it for a few days. And the first Sunday of Stampede, I'm sitting there at a buddy's house. I'm warming it up. We're going to go to the rodeo. And I get an email. So I think a lot of people online think I'm full of shit, but I'm actually not. I get an email at first I thought it was a joke. I'm like, okay, who's sending this to me? But it was I don't know, who sends these kind of emails, cease and desist on Sunday morning of Stampede. But this is 7/5/26, so it's July 5th, 26. I'm not going to read the whole letter. It's not that long, but I don't want to take up that much time. The title is Demand, in big bold letters, Demand for Removal of Social Media Post. And I'll just read the beginning. Mr. Commodore, right regarding your social media post on X, in Stubbins, parents should keep an eye on their children, blah, blah, blah. Although camp is now included, publicly available. There was a word they didn't like that I don't take back, but I did. Anyways, then it's we Oilers respect free expression and lawful public commentary. However, they think mine went beyond that. And then here's what I really kind of thought was funny. We further demand, first off, we demand that you immediately remove this post. We further demand that you immediately cease and desist from making, publishing, or republishing any further public statements concerning the Oilers, the coach to whom the post may be understood to refer, or any person associated with the Oilers that could reasonably be considered defamatory. So there's a couple more things in there. They were, please confirm by return email promptly upon removal that you have complied with this request and will refrain from making similar statements going forward. Well, I never responded to that email, and I'm not going to respond to that email. It worked out kind of funny where the place I was staying, the two lawyers, that's their house, husband, wife. And so I'm like, at first I was a little bothered by this. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, maybe I'll just remove the post. I don't like doing this, but I'll just remove it. I just don't want to deal with this right now. It's a stampede, even though I don't really like it. But then anyways, we have a couple beers, a couple days later. I'm like, hey, would you read this? And anyways, they didn't really think much of it. They thought the email part was very informal. And basically the moral of the story is they're like, look, if it's your opinion, it's a public figure, you can pretty much say whatever you want. Now, you can't go all half-cock calling him or her, well, him, obviously, Babs. I can't be saying things that are totally insane. I'm not saying anything that you can't just read on the internet. So I don't see what I'm saying defamatory. It's literally the truth, and it's my opinion. So anyways, I thought it was a good idea to reword the tweet and message the Oilers. Maybe on Twitter wasn't the greatest idea, but it did get it going a little bit. So we'll see where it goes, but I would just like to put it to bed. I haven't really looked at my mentions. Maybe I think some people think I'm full of shit, that I'm just making this up. So maybe I'll take a little screenshot of the top of it or something like that. So anyways, that's that. I cleared up. I did them a favor and removed the post, and I corrected it for them. So hopefully moving forward, we have no more issues, and I'm not getting any more cease and desist from the Edmonton Oilers. But we shall see.
Wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. I would just add this, Commie, and I would say this as your teammate and podcast co-host here for the last, we've been doing this for 4 years, and really, aside from having some informal conversations during your playing days and me as a reporter, going back over the years, it's only really been the last 4 years that I've got to know you.
Sure.
And for some of the people that have had responses and comments on social media, taking exception to what, Commie's saying, or people that don't believe what he's saying. I can only say this. Commie and I will agree to disagree on a lot of different things. But the one thing I can honestly say is Commie is not full of it. Commie speaks from the heart. And I think if you were to look around in hockey circles, and especially, I'll say this respectfully, some of the tippy top players in the league over the last 20, 25 years are some of your best friends. And I'm sure those guys have 1,000,001 friends or hanger-ons that they could choose to hang around with, but they choose to hang out with you. And I don't think it's because you're full of it. And so, quite frankly, the one thing that I really respect about you is, you are who you are. And, you stand by your opinions, you stand by your convictions, but the one thing that you are not is you are not a bullshit artist. And so that's what I love about you as a teammate.
I appreciate it.
You are there to support people, but yeah, great job in terms of handling that respectfully and posting it. But for those that take exception, that think that this was just a hoax, I can tell you in the 4 years that I've gotten to know Commie, we talk frequently every week, multiple times, right? And I'll tell you this much, you're not full of it.
I appreciate that, Seaball. Hey, Oilers fans, do you guys hear that? Quit lighting up my mentions. I appreciate that, Seaball. That was very nice.
I mean, he keeps telling me he won the Conn Smythe in 06 and that. I still haven't.
I did, I swear.
And it's a good way. This ends up being a good way for you to put it to bed, that it gets so outrageous that it gets to this point and you deal with that and you move on. More importantly, we're not moving on anywhere. You get to move on. But to Seaball's point, there's a reason why you end up on all these golf trips, and that's not a normal thing in the National Hockey League, that everybody gets invited to. One person gets invited to every single person's golf trips every single summer. It's no coincidence. It's Commie, because no one's inviting me to any golf trips.
Well, there's some things that go into that. It's because you're always out of position,
Razor. Just ask Joe Bowen.
No, you guys, I never had any kids. Guys know I have free time. I got to thank the Columbus Blue Jackets for making me able to afford these trips. Thank you. So it's more than just that. But no, thank you very much. Yeah. Hey, look, this isn't something I want to talk about all year. Look, I don't.
We don't have to talk about it till the 5-game losing streak in October.
Then we're gonna be all over it.
I'm telling you, just another chapter for Commie's book. Here's a story about a guy named Commie.
Hell of a book.
Okay, there we go. So moving on with that one. You know what? I'm going to keep this to a little bit of Commie themed here, Razor. Not that we're trying to screw you out of this episode here, but I do want your take on this as well. But given the fact that when we talk about members of the Detroit Red Wings Alumni Association, he seems to run every other alumni association as well, even organizations that he never actually played for. This is another reason why everybody loves Commie. But Steve Yzerman, out as GM. You guys thought I was crazy to suggest that, hey, I wonder if Stevie's in trouble here. And it was kind of, you guys were like, no, this is Steve Yzerman. This is Mr. Detroit Hockey here. And yet, Yzerman out as GM, moving to a senior advisor role, which kind of strikes me as basically, look, we're keeping you on payroll, but we're done with you after not getting us into the playoffs at any point in 7 years. Commie, I want to start with you on this. What the HE double hockey sticks happened in Motown?
You know what? I was when this kind of what was going down or about to go down. It doesn't take anybody could just look at who was there. We had Sean Horkoff there and Dan Cleary there, and they work for the organization, obviously. And so I was actually Dan's partner at Royal St. George's that day, and I want to say he came up to me at it might have been like the 16th, 17th, maybe even the 18th fairway. It doesn't matter. Back nine somewhere. He's like, hey, look, he goes, I think something's happening here. I'm not exactly sure what. And he's like, one of the outcomes might be that Yzerman's out or a different role. And I was shocked. I was like, really? And you know what? I'm buddies with these guys and I have a podcast. I would like to remain buddies with these guys. So I don't sit there and grill them. And if I did ask, I'm probably not going to repeat what they said. But I didn't ask anything. I'm like, this isn't the time or place. We're drinking warm whiskey and trying to keep our ball out of the bush. But I will say, in general, I would say everybody was kind of shocked, like a little bit like, oh, wow. And I'll just speak from my perspective. This is nobody's thoughts but mine. I kind of thought the timing was maybe a little bit, weird, maybe a little bit like the season's been done for a while. And, obviously it's not something you want to do right away. And you're not just going to go half off, half cocked, but you've gone through the draft and you've gone through at least some free agency. So just on a personal point, I thought the timing was a little different. But yeah, I think it would be fair to say that everybody on the golf trip was like very surprised. I would say that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. But yeah, shocked. I never thought in a million years, especially this summer and especially with the Larkin thing, I thought for sure the organization was going on Stevie's side on this and he was going to be there and through that. And that goes, I guess, to your timing question, Commie, is how did they lose both guys? And of course they haven't lost Larkin at this point. But if this was the issue Larkin had, why did they not pick one or the other earlier from a Detroit Red Wings point of view? That was my first thought, and it goes to that timing point. Why July? Why not April? If Larkin's representatives went and said this, okay, well, we as an organization have to make a decision on one of these two guys now. And they didn't do either one. So it is really curious, the timing. I'm now really curious because I'm like, I think of the Detroit Red Wings as being in-house people.
Yeah.
But are they, and then I read maybe they're going outside. Like it seems very different than what I pictured the Red Wings from behind the curtain. So it's really an interesting story, and it'll be more interesting how the next couple of months go for that organization.
Let me throw this theory to you both. Is it conceivable that maybe the agents get into the ear of ownership and say, look, this is a problem across the board, that this room cannot deal with the manager anymore?
Well, I would say yes for pretty much every single guy but Steve Yzerman. And that's exactly why I didn't think he was going anywhere. Because I can't imagine, if it wasn't for sponsorship, it would be Steve Yzerman Arena.
Right.
That brand new arena, Steve Yzerman Arena. So that's you're right, because that definitely happens in this league, and we're seeing the agents have a lot of pull right now.
Oh yeah.
But I thought Stevie was the one guy of all of the GMs that would be immune to that, and maybe he isn't. Maybe I'm wrong on that too.
I think it's crazy just from what I hear. I've never been in it, obviously, but I think just in general, the amount of power that agents have now, whether it's the NHL, whether it's college, whether it's major, junior, all the way down the way, I think it's pretty insane. From what I hear, they got a lot of power, which is just kind of, to me, seems crazy.
And I think, there are certain agents that have had a little more stroke than others that carry a big stick. And I think a great example of that is on our latest episode that you can find right now on YouTube, or you can find it on Apple and Spotify, a great conversation with Gary Lehman, who talked about, trying to get out of Calgary and landed in Montreal, where he had to fire his agent, Rick Kern, at the time, and then moved in with Don Meehan, and was quickly able to facilitate a trade. Anyway, I highly recommend checking that one out. And also coming up, our next episode in those conversations, the studio sessions, Gary Roberts. What a player. What a warrior, a legend on the ice, but a guy who's established himself as a legend off the ice too. So check that one out coming up in the very near future here, dropping in the coming days. Okay, Yzerman out. The Yzer plan is out. Commie, I do wonder if you touched on the guys that you were golfing with, but Dan Cleary, Sean Horkoff have been in that front office for a number of years. I wonder if one of those two guys might slide in. Does Brendan Shanahan get a look after his time in Toronto, and obviously won multiple cups with the Detroit Red Wings as well? So, does that guy is he still in the good books? Is that someone that you're still considered in-house if you go back to a guy like Shannon?
We were, we play Royal St, and we're having a few beers, and And like I said, I didn't ask any like pointed questions or anything like that, but I will say those were topics of conversation
This is why they love
came
you.
up.
This is why they love you, Commie.
And I will say, and this was just in general, we were sitting on the bus and we're like, some guys are like, what about, and kind of guessing, kind of like we're doing here. And Shanahan's name was a name that came up too, that a couple of guys were like, would he be in the, like, want to be in the mix or try to get in the mix?
Plan 2.0.
The Shana plan. Take that to the Red Wings. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, like I said, it kind of I think it caught everybody off guard. They had a conference call that day that, Steve actually told those two, hey, don't worry about it. You guys are golfing. What a great dude. And then, the rest of the day went on. So, anyways, yeah, I'll be interested to see what my Red Wings do.
Right. Maybe they'll bring your buddy Ken Holland back.
Bring him back.
See if they can.
Kenny's on the beach. You can't get a hold of him.
Kenny.
He's
like, I'm busy.
he's at Sharkies. No chance he's leaving for Detroit.
I'm not trading these golf courses down here in California for stuff in Troy. Come on. Okay, Connor Bedard re-upping in Chicago. It's a 5-year deal with a $15 million AAV. And again, we touched on this with the Carlson matching in Anaheim, but Razor, again, the financial landscape has changed exponentially for a player who has been good, but I would say has come nowhere near to matching the hype and the expectations for a kid that we heard about for about 3 years, leading into being the future of the National Hockey League, who's already been lapped by a guy who got drafted a year after him, and Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we could go back, Commie, to 2004-05, when we're blasting away on the NHLPA message board, trying to get the hell out of Finland or Russia, wherever the hell we were, we'd lull when we got the 24% rollback, and then we get crushed on the cap.
Yep.
And then we show up in August with a $39 million maximum salary cap.
Yeah.
If we went back and told ourselves, wait till 2026, and you're going to have two 23-year-olds making $15 and $18 million a year,
crazy,
after playing just 150 games, I would have ate my hat right in front of my new self and said, "You're full of shit."
Yeah.
And here we are. I am. It's amazing. It's amazing where we've gotten it really quickly too. So just in general, that's my thought for the summer. Just in general, the Bedard thing. Yes, he hasn't met the expectations, Seaball, but I think looking back, it was in a COVID area. He was at the World Juniors, which the tournament, it can explode kids, but he isn't. I don't think he was ever going to be actually Connor McDavid. I think it was, unfortunately for him, that expectation. I think if we went back and looked and talked about what he was going to be, we'd say, point per game player, score some goals, be a good power play guy. So I think he's getting there. And I think the Chicago Blackhawks had no choice but to sign their guy for 5 years and $15 million. I think
that's a thing.
Yeah, they have no choice. Absolutely no choice. You have to do it. You can't worry about one of these offers going out next year. You can't worry about it just has to get done. So I think at the end of the day, it's probably a good deal. It's definitely a good deal for Connor Bedard. 75 sheets for 5 years is pretty awesome.
Like a week after getting hurt too.
Yeah. And I think for Chicago, it's, getting the 5 years allows them to do some work. They're not completely locked in. And so I think all in all, it's a good deal. It's just crazy that it's a $15 million 22-year-old.
A couple things there for me. As I was driving, I can't remember which way it was, from Scottsdale to Calgary or the way back. I was actually listening to a lot of soccer, because that's what was on, and I was listening to a lot of NHL radio. They had Kyle Davidson, right, the Blackhawks guy. Anyways, they had him on. Right. Seems like a real good dude. The kind of offer sheet type, the contract stuff came up, and he kind of laughed. He goes, "Hey, we're matching whatever." He wasn't concerned about that. Good for Connor Bedard. I'll actually stand in Connor Bedard's corner here a little bit. I think whoever decided the hype train on him coming into the league was completely unfair. I mean, when you look back at that first game and they I think he scored a goal or something, and it had him at 1, and I think at the time Gretzky at whatever it was, he's chasing come on. And I also think obviously I think he's going to be an excellent player, but comparing him to McDavid, he doesn't like he's a great player, or he has the potential to be a great player. He doesn't skate well enough to be McDavid. So let's go easy on that.
I don't think anybody does, right?
No,
but Commie, for Commie, for context, when he was 14 years old, I remember my radio producer at the time saying, "Hey, like he's playing here down the road at this rink. Do you want to go check it out?" We went down to the rink to watch him at 14.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking 3.5 years before his actual draft.
Yeah.
Like the hype train was happening as a 14-year-old, right? Like,
yeah.
You think most kids do not have things figured out at 14?
It was never going to be the same as Sid or Connor, and I think there was a vacuum there. Again, it was through the lean periods of media. It was the gas bags like us trying to drum it up, when the reality is he's a 5'9", probably a winger who shoots the puck like an absolute rocket ship, who's going to score a bunch of power play points, and he's going to be, realistically, it's Cole Caulfield that he wants to be right now and be 50 goal scorer. That's what Bedard wants to be.
Yeah. So anyways, good for him. And like I said, I just wanted to, with the hype train thing was a little excessive, but yeah, I mean, good for Connor Bedard. And I would say, look, and there's, Sid had some injury concerns. I don't want to compare the two of those, but just the first one that comes to mind, it's Stamkos as well, like stuff happens. But I think those shoulders, let's get those shoulders right here moving forward. You'd like to keep him healthy. So I know he had a little accident a couple weeks ago or something training.
Yeah.
Maybe he should take some time off. He probably shoots too many pucks.
God, shoot pucks 500 a day.
Yeah,
let's
cut those back
and watch them play.
needs to go work with Gary Roberts. Come on.
Yeah, there's a good idea.
Maybe that's what it is. Hey, by the way, and maybe this will make both of you guys cringe because you went back to 2004, 2005. But remember what the salary cap max was in 2005, 2006 at the end of that lost season? It was $39 million was the salary cap.
I remember.
And now you got guys who are making
half of that.
More than half of that.
Whew. 39 million. I know I wasn't taking up much
years.
of that. You gotta have like 80 of me.
Jesus.
Okay, time for our fan question of the week. This is where we turn it over to you. Use the hashtag AskCTC on all of our social channels. Hit us up on YouTube, Instagram. If you have a question and you want the boys to answer it, well, here is your chance. And this time, we've got Angela from Sarnia. Now, this is taking exception, Commie, to your comment from a few years ago or a few weeks ago, looking at the analytics and how 92, 93, 94, 95% of your followers, the engagement 98. Are with men.
Yeah.
98. I was off.
Yeah, keep going.
I was still off.
Keep going up.
All right. So here it comes. Angela from Sarnia says, "What's up, guys? I felt like I needed to chime in because, believe it or not, you do have female listeners, and I am living proof. I listen to the pod and have been at the cottage while getting in one. Yes. Women also like getting in one. Oh, yeah. My wife can also attest to that. Yeah. My question is, do the players' wives and girlfriends get along? Where do they sit? Do they go on road trips? Any stories? Spill the tea." That from Angela in Sarnia.
That is.
Well, we should
wants to take this one.
We probably should have started this and done a whole podcast, 40-minute podcast on this.
Maybe there's an extra. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Go ahead, Razor. I just want to say that is an excellent question, Angela, that actually nobody's ever asked me. Go ahead, Razor.
There you go. Angela's on it.
You can take this one, Razor. I don't want to get in trouble. On here,
Razor.
Yeah. We'll get my wife. Oh, she'll spill the tea. That's for sure. Yes. I wouldn't let her anywhere near this microphone because we wouldn't have a show anymore, and cease and desist letters all over the place if my wife.
Go. The Bell Vegas really coming out there.
No, she's Boston. Even worse.
Oh, she's Boston. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Is she a Southie too, there, Razor?
There's some there, and she's Irish side. So yeah, you can imagine. Well, the wives very rarely traveled. That sometimes you would like kind of sneak a wife out if she was on vacation or had friends in town, and you could kind of see each other. But you wouldn't have a wife around the hotel when I played or anything around that scenario. That was kind of frowned upon and or just distracting for everybody. So your wife's not coming on the road with you and staying in your hotel room.
Not baseball.
Correct.
It's not 162 games.
It.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Like you're away for 3 days. You're good. Like the team doesn't need extra drama or distraction. So that's that. Typically the wives all sit together. You got family area section where, you've got 2 rows of seats. The wives kind of sit together, girlfriends. Some places they'll get a suite, maybe in the playoffs or something. They'll get a little fancier, but typically it's just tickets, that normal general tickets that they get in an area. And I guess in the newer buildings, they have elevators down to the wives' rooms and they can, I don't think my wife ever watched a minute. She just sat in the wives' room the whole time for most of the games, which is pretty typical. And then finally, of course, the wives do not get along. Absolutely. On most teams, there are cliques of cliques in the wives' room. Now, there's some great wives' rooms that everybody gets along, and there's all different kind of ages that get along, but typically there's different there's the hierarchy feels different in the wives' room at different times. That was always my experience, that there was usually tension in there.
Is that based on winning and losing?
No, absolutely. It has nothing to do with winning. You could be the most. You could never lose a game all year, and you'd have there'd be stuff going on. Just complete personalities. Of course, everyone has friends on different teams and the whole thing too. So everybody has knows a guy and knows a person and stuff like that. So again, 98% of the time, my wife got along with everybody and but there was a few there was a few wives' rooms in general that she's like, wow, you wouldn't believe what's going on in here. And, and the drama of it, it was interesting at times.
Was there a best room?
Yeah, a few best rooms. Vancouver had an unbelievable room. We all had young kids together. So it was like Lou had a young kid. Danny and Hank had kids with us. Burroughs had a kid with us. Kess had a kid. So that was like a really chill room because they had all had, my son was born 2 months before that season. So my wife, she was out of it by, that was long gone. There just had there was a baby room. It wasn't a wives room. It was a baby room. Toronto was the same in the opposite where when we were in Toronto, they were all mid-20s and we were kind of single, didn't really have kids. So she had a lot of great friends in Toronto and luckily they got along because that's the recipe, right, Commie? That's the recipe for destruction. When they're all mid-20s and they're all trying to work their way through it, it's something else.
Yeah.
Commie, do you got
a few other teams and maybe not as good.
Okay. Commie, any thoughts on this one? Or
I have some thoughts on it. First off, I'm not the best person to ask because I've never been married. And by and large, I spent my time avoiding the wives' room. In saying that as well, I got along with 99% of the, I could think of maybe 1 or 2 episodes where I'm not going to say who it was, but it didn't go so great, but by and large, I really got along with the wives. In saying that, after I read that Angela's question there, I did make some notes. My first note. So you can take this however you want, Angela. I said, and raise you, women can be mean and cliquey. Wives can treat girlfriends differently. So I had a couple girlfriends over the course of my career. There were some instances, especially one season, now I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know. I'm no longer dating this person. I don't know. And I'm trying to play a hockey game, but I'm like, hey, this can't be that hard. You want to come to the game, come to the game. If you don't want to stay, you don't have to stay. Do whatever you want. And there was a stretch there where I would get back from the game, go home, and I'm like, what happened now? What is going on? I'm like, this is insane. Next note. When booze gets involved, question mark, explanation point. Let's see.
I don't think that matters on the gender in that case.
No, that's true.
Alcohol.
That's fair.
All bets are off.
That's very fair. Yeah, that's not just wives' room. That's fair. I should take that point out. But booze in general, that
could be the 3 of us.
That 1 year, I moved my tickets from the group because I'm like, I can't. and she didn't live in town. So I'm just like, this is insane. I'll put her on the other side of the arena. And then my final thought was kind of like, I think a solid wives room is very, very important to a good team. But I think a bad one can blow a team right out of the water. That would be my best way to put it.
Yep.
Well, you can think of some examples that, really kind of caught fire on social media over the last few years. There was one years back with the Leafs. There was a shot that got caught on camera with James Reimer's wife, and I think Dion Phaneuf's wife, Alicia Cuthbert, and there was like some eye rolling in the moment. And I don't even think, and I think again, context, right?
Sure, could be totally innocent.
Could be completely innocent, right?
Something that happened at lunch.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, look at, she's making faces at her, doesn't like her, and it was like, and the speculation. So that probably creates an unnecessary tension. And then there was obviously Erik Karlsson, and I think it was Mike Hoffman, going with someone in the last decade,
Jesus.
right? And so these things that that actually get out into the open. So I'm sure, it's the whole hierarchy and the dynamics. Great question.
I wonder how
Angela.
the Sens. A great question. I wonder how our Sens wives room is these days. Rock solid. Or we shall see. You never know.
I was leaving that one alone.
Well, the captain's gone, so
it was in my head though.
Was the captain of the wives room traded as well?
We can always count on our Sens to bring some action.
Never a dull moment. Yes, that's an Ozune. Well played, everybody, right there.
Yeah.
Well played.
Well played.
Oh man. Okay. On to Don't Puck It Up. Anybody want to take this one first? Do you want me to go? What do you guys want to do?
I'll take the Red Sox winning 14 games in a row and getting in the mix in the AL East ahead of those Toronto Blue Jays. The Red Sox are cooking. They were dead to rights. Everyone hated them in the city, and somehow in 2 weeks they have become wild card automatics, I suppose people are thinking, and World Series champions. So I'll go baseball. We'll switch it up a little bit. And it ties into the Toronto Blue Jays on top of it, that they have gone the opposite way, those Red Sox, from the Toronto Blue Jays. Don't puck it up, though, Red Sox, because you will get criticized as soon as you lose 5 in a row again.
I didn't know the Red Sox won 14. I knew they were terrible to start. I've been out of it I got to catch up a bunch of
watching
stuff.
the World Cup, buddy. Yeah.
I know. I actually have been watching the World Cup. I was trying to tie something, don't puck it up, into that, but they did kind of puck it up. Actually, that was part of my England story. We were there for the England in the semifinal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were sitting there in a bar. We actually had to come in, and people, we didn't go down into London. We were outside a bit. We're like, this is not a good idea to go down there. It's going to take us forever to get back. So we did go to a bar. We showed up a little bit late because it was St. George's was further than we thought. So we got in. This place is packed, and they have stuff going on outside. We had to kick a table at 12 out, so you can imagine how that went over. Some English people for a bunch of douchebag Americans.
God.
Yeah.
No.
We didn't have any other option. We're like, these people got to go, man. So we punted them, watched the game. It was hot as hell in there, but yeah, England kind of pucked it up. I was trying to tie something into the World Cup, but I'll just take low-hanging fruit here. My boy Yzerman out. Let's not puck this up, Red Wings. Let's get this thing on the train tracks. I don't want to blame any of it. Whatever. I'm sure Steve Yzerman could have done some things a little better and made some better decisions at times. But at the end of the day, to me, he's Steve Yzerman, and he's in a lot of ways for me, he's above reproach. So Red Wings moving forward, don't puck this up. Get whoever the right person is in there. I've got my opinion, but I'll keep that to myself.
All right, that's I like it. This is why we love you. This is why everybody loves Commie. Except for the 12 people that got kicked out of their seat there in the middle of the World Cup semifinal. That would
have been
those 12.
Oh my God!
Those 12 people and Edmonton OILERS fans don't like me right now. Don't like me right now. Whew, I am not popular at home these days.
Son of a 12 of them from North America kicked us out with we're 5 minutes away from the final. Hey, you did them a favor based on the result and the outcome.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going with a don't puck it up. I've got a you pucked it up.
Ooh.
And this is Yeah, and this kind of speaks to a little bit of what's happened the last couple of days, and it speaks to U.S. President Donald Trump. Oh, yeah, you pucked it up. Donald, you didn't know when to get out of the HE doubles hockey sticks. You didn't know when to get out of the way for Spain's victory celebration and the World Cup final, standing there on the stage. Even the FIFA president trying to shuttle you off, and you're just looking like a bozo standing on that stage. Even Gary Bettman knows when to stay in his lane, okay? But then right after that, Trump decides to puck it up again, slapping a 50% tariff on a whole bunch of things in Canada, including hockey sticks. Yeah.
Hockey sticks
President
too?
Trump yes. He dropped 50% tariffs on a bunch
Hockey
more
sticks.
imports from Canada, including hockey gear, which is supposed to kick in next month. And here's the thing. All right. This is going to have little to no impact on the hockey mad country that we are here in Canada because there's only
Everything's
one
made
major,
in Canada.
Yeah. There's only one major hockey stick factory actually left in Canada, and wooden sticks, well, they're on the decline. And so the dig at Canada's game seems to have missed the net because, you know, the pros, as you guys know, nobody's using wood sticks. Kids are now opting for the composites as well, and most of those are made overseas. So maybe this tactic would have been way more significant when Jean Beliveau was wheeling and dealing on the ice, but not these days. So nice try, Donald. But you pucked it up on your tariffs again.
You know, he just fired. I mean, I don't know what else it was. You know, lumber, you know, obviously steel, like big time things. You just let there, you know what? Throw hockey sticks in there. Just not really.
That's exactly it.
Throw those hockey sticks in there.
How can we get in the news a little bit here?
Let's get their hockey sticks. Let's get their hockey sticks. It's going to be great. All right. On that note, remember to like and subscribe on YouTube for more Clearing the Crease content. Oh, wait. Before we go, real quick here, guys. Matthew Barnaby, Uncle Barney, friend of the show here on the Clearing the Crease podcast, has challenged Sean Avery to a throwdown
I heard
on Ice Wars, this show on ESPN where people drop the gloves on the ice, which is something I would not recommend unless you're making millions of dollars on the ice and you have to go.
They give it to each other too.
Oh,
Yeah.
do they have a
Yeah. And these guys are coming out. A guy used to play with them in the minors, Todd Harvey's brother, Kevin Harvey. Great dude. Love him, follow him online. You know, I haven't seen him in a long time. He was in it, and he won his fight. I'm like, Harv, you're back. He's like, oh, thanks, Commie. You know, sent a message. He went in there and beat up whoever he was fighting against, but he broke his orbital bone. Like, these guys are giving
And
it
he
to each
won.
other. And he won.
Oh,
yeah, he didn't
Jesus.
lose. Anyways, yeah.
That's a
Barnaby
you're getting
Avery.
a broken orbital bone for a
Barnaby
win.
Avery. Oh,
so,
boy.
Barnaby Avery, where are you leaning to on the Ozune prop bet here on this one?
I mean,
Wow.
God.
I'm not going against the Ottawa guy here on this one.
No.
Barney is
No.
an animal. He's been an animal as long as I've known the guy. I am sticking with Barney, even though he's older than Avery. Give me Matthew.
Hey, I never go against Matthew Barnaby. He's the man, friend of the show. I love the guy. In saying that, though, there is an age thing, and I will tell Barney this if he asks. You know, I follow, and I've never met Sean Avery in person, just played against him. I do think he does some fun, like some good stuff online and, you know, hollering at the bike lane people, maybe I'm not totally sure about. But, like, he's actually really good with, like, the pointer and, like, he breaks the game down good. Like, he knows what he's talking about. I will just let Barney know that Sean, from at least follow him a little bit online, has been in the jiu-jitsu studio quite a bit. So, I've got Barney, but Barney needs to be ready. That's all I'm saying.
And I would add to that. So I played with Aves for a year. So I was teammates with Aves in juniors, and I was friends with him for a long time. And I never saw him lose a fight. He always found a way to the same point with Barney. Not win. He wouldn't win.
Right.
But he wouldn't lose.
Okay.
And to your point of jiu-jitsu. So I would add that to Barney too. It seems more lopsided than it might be. And Aves has been yelling at people on bikes since I was 1999 with him. The stories we could talk about Aves that we got into in juniors. But
go Barney.
Yeah, I mean, Barney and Aves could sell tickets, boy, like Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe, that's for sure. They're Conor McGregor guys. They could sell some serious tickets, those two. So
I can't imagine a fact that here's Avery, who's been in have I seen him? I've seen him in the Lioness, I think on
He's in Odyssey. He's
on
in this
Prime.
new
He's
one.
in the Odyssey right now, like the
Yeah.
biggest movie of the year. He's in, and he was in Oppenheimer there just a couple of years ago as well. So I don't think he's touching this one, but
Yeah, I kind of maybe it was what was the first movie you said, Seaball? Lions? Was that with Mark Wahlberg?
Lioness, the TV series.
Oh.
No, Lioness was with Zoe Saldana and Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
It's like a CIA, like
Abe's
like
is funny.
it's like a Jack Ryan type show on Prime. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube for more Clearing the Crease content powered by Ozune. Follow along Apple, X, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, because the Clearing the Crease podcast is powered by Ozune.com. The clearest route to winning big is to play on Ozune.com. Ozune's got you covered for all props, game lines, futures, whether it's on the ice, on the diamond, on the pitch, or even on the gridiron. It's almost time to bear down, baby. It's almost time to bear down. Oh, yeah, you love that, Razor. Make your power play. Score big with Ozune. Well played. That's our boy, Commie. He's not full of shit. Neither is Razor. I'm Cybulski, who's full of it. And we'll talk to you next time right here on the Clearing the Crease podcast, powered by Ozune.com. Well played.